Order in the court. Order in the court. We're here to discuss the court case of Garrett Wilson will be a top 5 wide receiver in 2025 versus the people, the haters, versus the doubters out there. We need you to call in here. Not yet. I'll tell you when, because I need counsel on both sides of this case. I need anti-Garrett Wilson people and I need pro-Garrett Wilson people. And we're going to decide whether this young man is going to be a top 5 wide receiver in terms of the view of this court. The Fantasy Football Show court case of Garrett Wilson begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live!
Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
It's time for Fantasy Football. Court!
Order in the court. The last court case. Get out of here. We don't need you here. We already made a ruling on this earlier. That was a dynasty court case. This one, ladies and gentlemen, is about a man named Garrett Wilson. And Garrett Wilson is potentially heading into the top 5 wide receiver category this year. Now, a lot of doubters, doubting Donnies, scared Scotties, petrified Peters, are going to meander on in here and say, you know what? This is despicable, Smitty. Garrett Wilson's a 3rd round pick in Fantasy Football 2025 redraft. Garrett Wilson doesn't belong in this conversation. And to that, I will say the following. Order in this court. Order in this court. I will not sort of uprising when it comes to Garrett Wilson's value while I'm speaking. Now, I'll say this right now. Garrett Wilson has never missed a game. Garrett Wilson is a 1,000-yard monster each and every season. Garrett Wilson is playing college with his college football quarterback now in Justin Fields. The rapport is like, no, it's like this. The other way. It's like this. Garrett Wilson and Fields are like this. 2 peas and carrots, as Forrest Gump would say. And there's just no way that he doesn't have a better situation than ever before. Not to mention that Adams is gone from last year, and Wilson was still amazing with Adams on scene. This team is going to go very run heavy, but getting rid of Adams and making Garrett Wilson the only show in town guarantees him so much work. It doesn't matter if they go run heavy. There's going to be more than enough work for Garrett Wilson to get his 1,100 yards, 10 to 14 touchdowns, and probably a league leading or at least top 5 reception total. I mean, he's going to be a potential league leader in receptions. Let's ask Kruger what the top 5 wide receivers were in receptions last year. He's usually wrong, so can someone please spot check this so I don't look like a moron for 5 straight minutes after he gives me this information. Kruger, what were the top 5 wide receivers last year in 2024 in receptions in the NFL through week 17 or through week 18? Bailiff?
According to the stats from last season, the top 5 in receptions were Jamar Chase, 27, Amon-Ra St. Brown with 115, Brock Bowers had 112, Trey McBride with 111, and Malik Neighbors with 109. So you've got all the right info.
Thank you. Appreciate you stepping up for the team there. Kruger, Bailiff, thank you for that information. So we have not an anomaly, but a 120 plus, Jamar Chase type of reception season that we may not see this year. I'm not saying we will or we won't, but I think like a 115 is about where Garrett Wilson could float. Maybe 110. So even if, let's say, he falls more on the 110, 105, 108 side, he'll still be a top 5 potential getter in receptions. We had, what was 5th place, 109. So that feels pretty easy. You know, that feels like him being top 5 reception getter seems like a cakewalk, because Fields is going to just pepper him with tons of targets. Not to mention, he's such a good receiver at getting those short safety mechanism plays where Fields is literally just going to have 4 or 5 targets where he's just doing a quick slant, or he's turning around to catch the football at or a yard or 2 or behind the line of scrimmage. There's going to be so many manufactured touches, or just manufactured in that Fields is just going to throw immediately to Garrett Wilson because that's his number 1 target. This is a Stafford overfeeds Puka Nacua type situation. This is Ben Roethlisberger overfeeds Antonio Brown. This is Justin Fields, who turned DJ Moore into a top 5 wide receiver the year that Fields finally got his wide receiver. And we've been waiting for DJ Moore to do that. We were looking for that out of McLaurin in Washington. He needed a quarterback. We're waiting. He gets JD5 and McLaurin goes to the moon. DJ Moore goes to the moon. Part of the DJ Moore recipe was Fields going to the moon. Now, Fields had a bad situation, bad defense, bad situation, bad organization, and he just had DJ Moore. Now imagine what Garrett Wilson is, college wide receiver. They played college football together. Imagine the college wide receiver being handed to Justin Fields. Imagine Breece Hall in the backfield ripping it off. Just carry after carry, 5 yards a pop, catching the football in the flat, taking it 40 yards down the field. Defenses don't know what to do. They can't just double team Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's going to knife up the defense like butter. And it's going to be sometimes short catches, sometimes I don't imagine him leading the league in yards per catch, because he's going to catch a lot of footballs. He's going to be in this, I think, 115 territory, which if we don't have a Jamar Chase 127 or 129, it could be league leading. At least it will be in the top 4 or 5. Yardage wise, I don't know that he'll be necessarily the number 1, number 2, number 3 yardage getter, because I don't know that he's going to have that type of yardage volume. But even if he has something like 1250, 115 receptions, and we call it like 13 to 15 TDs total, totally doable in this offense, the way that it's going to be constructed, the way it's going to lean on Garrett Wilson, and the amount of volume that will be there for him. This is a top 5 wide receiver season if he gets these kind of touchdown numbers with the receptions. If we're talking PPR, maybe in non-PPR or half PPR, he drops a couple spots, finishes wide receiver 6, 7, 8, somewhere around that territory. But I'd love to know who is on board the Garrett Wilson top 5 wide receiver train. I want to know. I want you to dial in. I need somebody on both sides of this thing for counsel. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
And your boy will answer the phone call, put you in a position here in the court. Let me get Garrett Wilson's stats up from last year and put it on screen just so we have. Actually, let's get his career stats up and put it on screen, because he's damn deserving to have the whole body of work talked about, because he's been phenomenal his entire career. He's been glorious his entire career, and we need to respect his damn stats and put them on screen so everybody watching knows what he's been doing and what he's been up to. And when we start discussing his capabilities, we need to see the resume. The resume, 3 straight years the kid enters his 4th season with turmoil and turnover at the QB position and turnover in the coaching department, just constant changing, and the only thing that doesn't change is his production. 17 games played, 83 receptions, 95 receptions, finally 101. 101 receptions, 154 targets, less targets than the year prior. 1104, 1042, 1103. The guy's a lock for 1,100 yards. 4 TDs, 3 TDs, 7 TDs. I get there's a lot to be desired there, but the 7 TDs last year was promising. Even if we say something like, okay, maybe he doesn't get 13 to 15, maybe he gets 11 to 13. That's still borderline in PPR, full PPR, a top 5, 6, 7 wide receiver. I want to know who's completely against him being top 5. We got someone on the phone here. Matthew, you're live. Are you representing the defense that Garrett Wilson is, or at least a very strong possibility he is a top 5 wide receiver, or are you prosecuting this case?
I am for him to be a top 5 wide receiver.
Okay. Go ahead. Make your case, young man.
My case is, number one, I think the big thing of the reunited quarterback chemistry of Wilson and Fields, I just think people don't realize that chemistry like that in college, coming into the NFL, I understand quarterbacks, cornerbacks, defenses, I understand they're more elite than college, but I think chemistry is a big thing. Wilson is so mobile, and Fields being a mobile quarterback, being able to run around the field, being able to possibly help clear that box up a little bit for Breece Hall to run more. It's just going to create more opportunity for Garrett Wilson. And you're right, he's going to pepper him with targets. He is the number one option. There is no competition. There's nothing around him. Why can't he be top 5?
Excellent points, counselor. Look, this is just an easy case of maybe I'm getting overzealous and it shouldn't be 5. Maybe it's 6 or 7. I get that I might be getting a little pumped up and excited. And we really break it down, and the prosecutor might come in here and say, JJ, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Neighbors, and then you've got BTJ, Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got a big cluster of players that are all really close. And then Smitty, why don't you tell me why he's going in the 3rd round then? If he's Mr. Smart Judge, if he's so locked into top 5 numbers, why aren't we getting him in round 2 more often than round 3? These are all good questions. These are all very good questions. And I'm kind of here to shed the light on that maybe he should be a high 2nd round pick. And we're just very fortunate to see him floating in 3. And we're so, I don't know, brainwashed by the ADP sometimes that we just accept that he belongs in 3. And I'm not saying to change that. Don't go out there and try and overpay for him. But just because please don't change that. But just because he's in round 3 doesn't mean he doesn't deserve to be in round number 2. Top of round 2. I would say that Amon-Ra St. Brown and Garrett Wilson, while I'm not a moron, okay, of course I would draft Amon-Ra, technically speaking, over Garrett Wilson when he's a 3rd rounder. Amon-Ra's going in round 1-2 turn. But this is a case of give me Bucky or Achane at the top of 2 instead of taking Amon-Ra, and give me Garrett Wilson in 3. Or this is a case where I'm in a league right now where I've got Puka Nacua, who plays so aggressive to his body, I worry about injury. Or I've got St. Brown, who does the same thing and is losing Ben Johnson, and Goff might turn into maybe not a pumpkin, but a jack-o'-lantern of sorts. Maybe I'm trading my St. Brown down into Garrett Wilson to upgrade my mediocre running back into Breece Hall, or to upgrade my mediocre running back into RJ Harvey or Hendy or Kyron Williams. Or I'm upgrading my Jacobs into a Bucky Irving because I'm downgrading my St. Brown into Garrett Wilson. That's what you got to think about in Dynasty to smash those trades, my boy. All right, look, I think everybody in here I can't find a counselor that will take this case. I don't know if this is going to be I don't want to say a hung jury. It's going to be more of like along the lines of a corrupt court case where I just kind of push it through. Yeah, I'm just going to sign an executive order and make this guy deemed at least in top 5 to 7. We'll call it top 5 to 7. We'll give it a little grace.
Can I say one more thing, Smitty?
Go ahead, counselor.
Listen, he was tied for 7th in the NFL last year. I think you maybe made that point when you first got on the show. Tied for 7th with Aaron Rodgers. Devontae Adams came over, mid-season, towards the tail end of the season, right? 154 targets and 1,100 receiving yards, which was farther up in the rankings. That was like 14th, 15th or so. But from old man Aaron Rodgers with his best buddy Devontae Adams still got this guy to 101 receptions, tied for 7th. So what makes you think Justin Fields isn't going to get him up to 115, maybe even 120?
These guys have bunk beds together in college, okay? I don't really know if that's totally true. I just envision that myself, but they probably did. Or if they didn't, they should have. They should have had bunk beds. These guys were college teammates playing together, throwing the foosball around in the backyard. This is like when they saw each other They had the handshake all ready to go. They were ready to rumble. This is going to be glory. And not to mention, let's think about one thing real quickly that I haven't heard you or me say yet for this court case. We've seen Fields create a top 5 to 7 wide receiver in DJ Moore, have we not, Counselor? We have, right?
We have.
Okay.
I had him that year.
Now, have we seen Justin Fields in a proper offense? Have we seen Justin Fields in a situation where he's supported properly, given the keys to the starting lineup, has the offense, has the defense? So it's like we don't know what his number one wide receiver ceiling is. We don't know.
Yeah,
it could be way higher than 5 to 7 because we've never seen him operating in a good condition to say that, 5 to 7 is all he should be producing. I said that to start the show. If he can make DJ Moore 5 to 7, why can't he make Garrett Wilson? Well, let's back up and just say if he can make DJ Moore 5 to 7, because it depends on your scoring. He was number 5 or number 7 in your scoring, DJ Moore, the year that Fields threw to him. Why are we using that as the barometer when Fields was handcuffed during that season? Now Fields is believed in for the first time. Comes out of Pittsburgh with a 4-2 record. Has confidence from that. He didn't lack confidence last year, and he didn't take an ego blow when they decided to not, keep him in the lineup. If anything, it was a misstep that he probably enjoyed watching. And then when he decided to go elsewhere, he took his confidence of a 4-2 season and he brought it into New York, and New York says, come in, young man, and shine. Come in and shine. Here's a defense. You never had a defense? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Now you got a defense. Now you got a top 10 defense. Now you got offensive weaponry that you could easily call top 10 in the NFL with Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson. This is a unit here. This guy's got a lot of weapons. Fields, we don't know what Fields is. We have never seen Fields operate in an offense like this with weapons like this on both sides of the ball, not to mention on all facets of the offensive, lineup. You've got Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. He only had DJ Moore. So this is going to be so interesting to see what the ceiling value is for Fields and what the ceiling value is for a Fields wide receiver, because it might not be 5 to 7. All right, anything else, young man? Good job today in the court.
I think that's it. I just agree with you. Like,
of course,
the chemistry. I'm on that side. I drafted him in Dynasty. I have the Fields and Garrett Wilson Dynasty stack.
Yeah.
Whether or not I start.
Don't worry
Fields,
about that.
But
That's
I believe in it.
Yeah,
I'm
this
for
courtroom
it, so.
accepts that. All right, thank you. Appreciate you. Good job, man.
Thanks, Smitty. Yep.
I'm gonna close this case because we didn't have a single hater call in. We had a few in the live chat, but they weren't bold enough to go into their pantry and sit on the little stool, hold a little light, and go, I'm going to talk right now. I'm in the pantry, but I don't agree with you, Smitty. I'm a hater. I'm a Garrett Wilson hater because I didn't draft him in any league. We didn't even get somebody to call in and whisper from the pantry or go in the garage. Nobody decided to step up and have this conversation. So I'm deeming this court case not thrown out, not mistrial, but executive ordered into, glory. And I have a new Garrett Wilson drop for you. This case is closed. Garrett Wilson's a top 5 to 7 wide receiver. Learn about it.
Many wonder what motivates and drives Garrett Wilson.
I mean, Garrett Wilson, to me, is more like a third rounder. Steve, wouldn't you agree? I think, he doesn't belong up there with the top 5, 6, 7 wide receivers, don't you think?
Please report to the moon. Space-time continuum reset.
Garrett Wilson is the man with the plan, the master plan. Hopefully you enjoyed the new Garrett Wilson video drop. He needed one. We hadn't had one since the Aaron Rodgers Garrett Wilson combo video, so he's got his own video, which is fantastic. Would love to hear from all of you that just want to have a conversation now. You don't have to be on the spot as a prosecutor or expert witness. We're just here to merely talk a little Garrett Wilson ball. We're here to talk a little bit of Garrett Wilson ball on top of just maybe, something you want to talk about with your league. But if you do call, I do urge you to please at first acknowledge the Garrett Wilson situation. And also, we've got 140-ish people popping in and out, and I only have 33 thumbs up, which is a travesty in this court. Please hit that thumb up button on the way into this courtroom. Phone lines are open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Garrett Wilson won't outscore Tyreek Hill this season. Where were you? First of all, that's hilarious. Garrett Wilson won't outscore Tyreek Hill. Come on, bro. And second of all, where were you? Where were you when this court was looking for somebody to please call in and feed us this kind of nonsense, Ben? We would have loved to have seen it. This court would have welcomed that sort of take on the docket today. God, yeah, that was bad. That was bad. Matt says that was one of the dumbest things he's ever read. Matt's read a lot of things in this chat. Let me tell you that right now. All right, and more serious stuff other than Ben's comedy hour. Ben, this isn't your opportunity to try out your comedy bit. Hey, Smitty, I got a comedy show coming up I got a Tyreek bit. Can I throw that out there and test it out with the crowd? The crowd didn't laugh, Ben. It's bad. Tyreek Hill ain't scoring Garrett Wilson. That comedy bit, take it out. It's not funny. Doesn't get the juices flowing, baby. Don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, come on, bro. Fields was also coached by people who probably didn't have tape on him or watch him, left it up to him. I bet you Garrett Wilson Fields, you know how they did it in Chicago before Caleb arrived. Like, just go into the locker room and watch some film or something. Caleb Williams wasn't even directed to watch film. Caleb Williams was living in this part, I'm not making fun of Caleb, I'm making fun of the Bears. The Bears are such a bad organization. They're probably the worst organization in the league. Flat out. But this is one of those situations where it's toxic there. It's repetitive. It's the same thing over and over and over, right? Rinse and repeat, how many bad decisions you make. But they literally just sent this man. They didn't even send him in to watch film. They just left the door open. It was kind of like, almost like a toy box of film, and it's just like Caleb had to go in and just grab something and throw it in and watch it by himself. No one was even there to instruct him. I mean, can you imagine? What do you think Fields was done? How do you think he was worked over in the film room? Not at all. Poor Fields, man. Fields has been dealing with trash his entire career. Goes over to Pittsburgh and that absolute imbecile running things over there. Tomlin, who probably should be fired, but they won't fire him. They'll mutually walk away after a missing the playoff season this season. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't pull a bunny out of his hat and figure a way to squeeze into the playoffs. But it's going to be a tall order to grab a wild card spot. They're certainly not winning the division. So they got to grab one of 3 wild card spots in one of the most tough to imagine situations this year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Tomlin will probably just, if he's not fired, he'll just walk away. But Fields was thrown into that Mickey Mouse circus of a situation where Tomlin was just wanting to get paid the big bucks. Remember when he benched Justin Fields after a 4-2 start, after Russell Wilson got injured getting out of bed? And Tomlin makes a stupid decision, pulls Justin Fields after holding the playbook back from him all season, by the way. Ben Roethlisberger even came out and said that they were pulling the reins back on Fields the entire year, and he still finished 4-2. So when you say, Fields only ran the ball, Fields didn't throw the ball well, Fields didn't target Pickens very well, those are all really ridiculous things to say, lazy takes, because even Ben Roethlisberger said that they were pulling the reins back. They gave him a quarter of the playbook, and they just wanted to buy time. They didn't give him a full chance. And then that reporter asked Tomlin, hey, how'd you know? Because Russell Wilson and the Steelers won that first game that Russell Wilson started. And that reporter just said, how'd you know? How do you know? And Tomlin goes, that's why I get paid the big bucks, man. That's why I get paid the big bucks. Tomlin was thinking he was living on top of the world. He's such a mediocre decision maker with that stuff. They can't develop quarterbacks. I mean, to bring in Arthur Smith as your offensive coordinator after Canada, after the vanilla offense era, where this team had just the most vanilla offense in the world. Matt Canada, you had all that going on, right? You bring in Arthur Smith, that's about as wild as us only having 48 likes when we have 140 people in the building watching right now. 140 in the building and 48 likes. Pump those rookie numbers up for your boy Smitty, please. John with a super chat. Fullbrook with a super chat. Appreciate both of you. Your first super chatters of the evening so far, so you're getting a standing ovation. Appreciate you both.
Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy.
Let's hit these two supers, and then I want some damn phone calls coming in here. Where did I put those? Did I put those over here? Look at RJ Harvey. He's kind of hiding there. I don't know. Let me put those over here. I don't know where those super chats were. I forget what screen I was even on. Let's go to this super chat by John. He says, Rank Dynasty Superflex, Golden, Tootin, Burden, Blue, Higgins, Jaden Higgins, Trey Harris. I love Tootin, but 9 fumbles is a lot. I'm going Blue, and then I'm going Tootin, then I'm going Higgins, Burden, Trey. But I'm really kind of leaning hardcore Blue, and then there's almost like, I don't want to say tier break, but kind of in a way, bro. Dynasty trade worthy and Jarquez Hunter and a 26 first rounder for Garrett Wilson. I would consider that depending on where the first rounder is. If it's a late first rounder, like it's 2.1 practically, then I'm considering it. I really think Garrett Wilson is that good. If it's an early first rounder, I probably bank on Worthy being close. If not, there's a chance he's as good or better than Garrett Wilson. So that chance makes me not want to go that route if it's a high first round pick. So it really depends on where the pick is. If it's a late pick, give me Garrett Wilson. Fields will be a top 5 to 8 QB this year, says Jaime. Jaime, you aren't fooling me. I know this is, I mean, you're preaching to the choir, I guess is more what I'm trying to say, because his running ability alone makes him top, 5 to 8 capable, sure. And Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, I mean, I think his line was like 15 passing touchdowns in Vegas or something like that. Like, hit that over, man. Smash it and do it live. Please. Thank you, Jaime. Jaime with the super chat. Fullbrook with the super chat. John with the super chat. Appreciate all three of you. If anybody else has another, bring it on in. And we only have 55 thumbs up and 151 watching. Let's pump those likes up, please. Phone lines open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
I love that everybody hates Justin Fields. The reason I love it is because he costs you very little. I mean, you don't even have to take him as your number one quarterback. You can take him as in best ball as like a 1-2 punch. Take Bo Nix and Fields, take Mahomes and Fields, take, early quarterback and Fields if you want. And in non-best ball, you can very easily draft him as your second quarterback. You could take him as your one, but I definitely would err on the side of caution and grab like Nix and Fields if you can in a non-best ball. And some people don't draft multiple quarterbacks. I do. I always do. People make fun of people that watch my show and draft 3 quarterbacks, and they say, Smitty, I drafted 3 quarterbacks. Now, that depends on how big your rosters are. If you have 6 bench players, you can't draft 3 quarterbacks. You can't draft 2 tight ends. There's a whole formula to it. But in certain cases where you can scoop up Nix and you've got Fields and you got JD5, like, you're going to have trade potential, and injuries happen. And in the Marsman League, I traded Puka for, I think I traded Burrow for Puka or something like that when an injury struck. So you can easily make a trade. It happens all the time. That was when Puka was very, he wasn't like he was unknown at the time. He was very, very valuable. Just there's always time and a place that you can get rid of and dump a quarterback if you have the right quarterback. And sometimes you got to get rid of your best one. Like sometimes you have, let's say, Josh Allen, and let's say Fields is playing like a top 5, 6 quarterback. Or in a better case, Bo Nix. You take Bo Nix, he's a top 5 or 6 quarterback. You got Jalen Hurts playing like 5, 6, 7. You almost feel like Nix is going to outscore him, because I think that's certainly possible myself. Call me crazy all you want. I don't care. I'll trade Hurts away. I'll draft Hurts. I get Nix, and I'm like, damn, I got Nix, and I'll just trade Hurts now. And I'll go get a player I should have probably taken, but I liked Hurts' value at the time. Maybe I go get a player that's a little higher than Hurts on the ADP rank after the draft, and I go get myself a wide receiver. Maybe I'll go get a Rashee Rice. Maybe I go get a Garrett Wilson. Maybe I go get a JSN. Maybe I get a RJ Harvey. Maybe I get a player that I should have took maybe instead of Hurts. I didn't know that I was going to get Mahomes and Fields or Mahomes and Bo Nix, or I could do that. On the clock, I trade Hurts for a running back that got taken maybe like RJ Harvey or Kyron. They got taken slightly below after Hurts, and you smash that way. Superflex, gotta love the hell out of the Fields and Nick's value. Super says I missed the super chat. No, I didn't. Super, it's right here. I got it. I'm talking. I'm rolling through some stuff, but I got it right here. Here it is. Appreciate you. Thank you for the super $5 hauler from Super Soda. Super Soda lover. Dynasty Superflex. My QBs are Baker, Tua, Rattler, Shuck, Shadur. Would you trade Tua in a 27 first for Penix Jr.? Definitely. If you prefacing that if it's a number 1 overall pick, then no. I want to get Jeremiah Smith. You know what I'm saying? But if this is a late first round pick or mid to late, I don't trust Tua at all, bro. He's one shot away. Give me Penix Jr. It will be worth a mid to late first round pick in this swap. If it's a top 3 pick, you almost got to try something else, man. You know, it's a tough thing to trade away a 27 first round pick when it feels top 3. So you got to look yourself in the mirror. If this is your own pick, is your team winning it? What did it finish last year? But maybe fling another message at me. Doesn't have to be a super chat, but send me another one. Let me know what you think the pick could be. Then I'll try and answer it. What's up, Key? What's up? Terry Roberts in the house. 145 watching, says Terry. And only 58 thumbs up. Please punch that thumb up button, says Terry. Wilson has been a top receiver with Zach Wilson, Mike White, past his prime Aaron Rodgers, and probably 2 other bums. Fields might be his best quarterback situation yet. It's not might, Spencer. It's 100% his best quarterback situation yet. And we've seen what Fields can do once he's given a receiver, and I can't wait to watch, bro. I can't wait to watch. Matt says Jeremiah Smith is on another level. He is. That's why you got to make sure you're not getting rid of a 1 pick or something like that. But I don't just hold on to 2027s or go get 2027s no matter what. Like some people will tell you, trade away your 2026s for 2027s. Such a dumb and lazy take. Trade for a high 2027. Not just any 2027. I hate to break it to people, but there's only one Jeremiah Smith. I know this draft class will be good. So will 2026. Don't listen to the ridiculous Rodgers out there that say that 2026 is a bad draft class. I'm so tired of hearing people say that because they heard it somewhere. They're repeating it. They don't know. They're repeating it. They heard it from Mikey, the Mickey Mouse creator over here, that said that 2026 is a bad draft class. Trade away the picks for 2027. And everybody's repeating it like it means something to me. It doesn't mean nothing, because 2026 is going to be better than people expect because these players haven't played yet for 2025. You know how many players emerge that really don't have the best year until their final year? Like, you know how many players we're going to be talking about? $20 hauler from John dropping wads on the screen.
Alert. Super chat alert.
$20 super chat. $20 super chat.
John, appreciate you, my boy, coming in with the 20 wad, you straight up savage. Super chat savage. Why do you love Blue over Tootin, Burden, Higgins, Burden, and Golden? Is taking Blue at an early second crazy? Is Blue's age a concern? I'm rebuilding some in this league. I'm not worried about Blue's age, bro. I like Jaden Blue a lot. The reason I think he's going to be such a steal this year is his speed. The pathway to the lineup isn't going to be that hard and difficult to overcome. I think the obstacle of Javonte, as much as I want to cheer and root for him, is not a big obstacle. And at the end of the day, it just feels like when I watch him, I just get that vibe, bro. I get that little, I don't want to say it's like Bucky Irving vibe, but a little remnants of that feeling when you watch Bucky starting to emerge. When we looked at players like Bucky in previous years and we got that itch about a player and believed in them, I just see an exciting player with tremendous speed, good ability to catch the football in an offense that's going to need him greatly. And I think he thrives. I do love Tootin as well. So when I say Blue over Tootin, I'm not necessarily trying to say that this is a conclusion that I won't change my mind on, or that I don't love both of them, or that I don't rotate them. Earlier when I said Blue tier break, really I mean Blue and Tootin tier break, to be honest. I think Blue is ahead of Tootin right now for me. I'm constantly drafting Jaden Blue. But this is a situation where we have Tootin. Do I have Blue on this list, or is Blue just merely? So we have Tootin and Bigsby on the midseason monster list, and then we have on the Moon Man list, we have Jaden Blue.
Dropping loads in outer space.
So he gets a little bit of a nod because I actually have him on the Moon Man list. And while the midseason monster list is a version of the Moon Man list, it's like by midseason, they're going to be a Moon Man player. They're going to be playing at the level of the Moon Man, Mars Man, Saturn Man. They have that potential midseason monster. So Blue getting the nod a little earlier it just makes him a little bit more valuable in my mind. But I don't know, bro. It's really hard. This is an eye test thing at this point. We don't have a lot of information here on June 29 to make a lot of assertions or determinations or give a lot of concrete, tangible evidence as to why Burden is above Golden, or Golden's above Burden, or Higgins is above both of them. Burden's the better receiver, but he's trapped in a situation where he's fallen behind because he got hurt. And Ben Johnson roasted him when talking to reporters, and it might have been let a little fire under him, right? But at the same time, he has missed a lot of time. He's fallen behind, so Burden has more of a chance of being a midseason monster than he does a Moon Man because he fell behind. Golden, I don't believe in Golden. I didn't on draft day. The Packers, a team that haven't drafted a wide receiver for 20 plus years in the first round, are the team you're going to trust to draft a wide receiver in the first round? They drafted a guy that didn't belong in the first round. He didn't have a first round wide receiver grade. So I don't believe in that. Higgins is the number 2 at best in his offense with a quarterback that struggled greatly last year, and the offensive line is trash. So I worry about Higgins. So give me Tootin, fumbles at all, but give me Blue, who has no downside to me other than he's not in the lineup yet, but either is Tootin. So that's kind of my take there, John. Hopefully that helps kind of get in my mind and understand where I'm coming from. But let me be very clear, John. One wind gust this way or one wind gust that way, and I could change my tune like that. And that's not flip-flopping. That is me being somebody that adjusts and adapts. I don't want to hear a single person saying, oh, that's a flip-flop. Adjusting and adapting is important. It's the way you win fantasy. People that say, oh, Smitty, you like Walker all offseason. It was last year where Kenneth Walker, we traded him after he had a monster start to the year. Was this last year or this year? I keep forgetting. But Walker, I've been on Walker since the beginning. But the year, was it last year? Was it last year? I keep forgetting if it was last year or the year before when he had the league-leading touchdowns in the first 4 weeks of the season. Travis broke this down one time when we were looking at it. It was like 5 TDs in 4 games, but it really was like 3 games that he had it. But Walker was a steal, and we drafted Walker like crazy, but after a month of football and Walker leading the league in touchdown runs, I came into a live stream and I said, sell him. And people were out of their mind upset at me, especially people that are in a league where there's no trading. They were like, what are you talking about, Smitty? Why did you tell me to draft Walker all offseason? Which we were right about because he was leading the league in rushing touchdowns through 4 or 5 games. But it's all about adjusting and adapting. It's all about that. That's how you win. You can't hold on to your preseason and week 1 and week 2, week 3 predictions. You got to adjust and adapt. And the waiver wire is a perfect example of that. You're trying to go get players that you missed on, that we all might have overlooked. That's what adjusting and adapting is. Why do people have a problem adjusting and adapting when you do it every week on the waiver wire? You just don't admit that that's what you're doing. Week 1 waiver wire, we're trying to get ahead of that. I did a waiver wire show. For those of you that don't understand that we are freaking crazy, we already did a preemptive week 1 waiver wire show so that you don't get caught in the lurch with your pants down coming out of week 1. And your boy Smitty said, make sure you're not racing to the waiver wire to go get Thornton Jr. You already own him. Don't be racing to the waiver wire to pick up Krosky Merritt or maybe Brashard Smith or Keaton Mitchell or Dylan Sampson or Taj Brooks. These guys will climb. Monungai, I'm going to put down a little lower. I think he's somebody, I think even Taj Brooks is somebody that will put lower. Just kind of tearing this off to guys that you could take now and they can actually contribute. Like Sampson's being used a ton in the receiving game. But there's no one that does the preemptive waiver wire shows like we do. This is one. We're going to have part 2. We're going to have part 3. And then we're going to have the official week 1 waiver wire show where hopefully a lot of you are housing these players like Gadsden and Fannin Jr. before it's too late. But we want your league mates to run to the waiver wire, type in Thornton, and see that you own him. And they go, how did he know? How did he know Thornton's going to be so good? Adjust and adapt, baby. That's how you know. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
I was going to live stream from the Scott Fish Bowl today. I know I told you guys I probably was doing that. It was kind of a loud venue. It wasn't really ideal to live stream. And it wasn't really, I basically decided to just not live stream the whole draft because it was hard. There was no stickers to put on the board. There was nothing to really live stream. So I went ahead and decided not to do that. My team's looking okay. I had some snipers there that showed up, which is good. It was fun. But definitely got, Mahomes and Harvey and all the boys getting taken real early. One guy said, I knew you were going to take Mahomes, so I snagged him. I watched your show. And so that was kind of fun. It was fun. I ended up drafting a pretty good team, but it's a wild roster. There's basically, you can start 2 quarterbacks, but you don't have to start any quarterbacks. You can start all running backs. You can have nothing but running backs, nothing but wide receivers. Basically a bunch of flex spots. And then there's 2 super flex spots. So you can only start 2 QBs, but you don't have to start a single QB. So weird format. Honestly, the real losers of fantasy football are the ones who just put their players they hear are the best starts and sits, and they have no idea why, says Malcolm. Paying attention to watch the show. I appreciate you for the compliments. What won the championship with Andy Dalton helping me out in Levis some weeks? Super Soda says. Interesting. John, appreciate you again for the $20 super chat. Thank you to Super Soda. Thank you to John. Thank you to Fulbrook. Thank you to Jaime. Thank you to John for the super chat so far tonight. I don't know if my phone line is broken or if we're just too late right now to get a bunch of calls. I know when we get closer to the season, the phone line's off the hook. But I know that around 1 a.m. like it is right now, Eastern, 10 o'clock my time, some of you guys don't really have the ability to jump on the phone line right now. And so, that's all right. That's all right. Your boy Smitty's here for you anyway. I suppose we could get in a draft real quick. If anybody wants to draft on Underdog, promo code Smitty, smash that link right there, or the link I'm about to drop right now. But using code Smitty gets it done as well. Here's the link right here to Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Let me log in here and just hit that link. Underdog will match your first deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000. So it really is an awesome chance to get that deposit. And the minimum is only $10. So let me log in here. All right, let's log in. Hold on a second. Phone lines are open. Dial in. Okay, we should be logged in now. Let's jump into a weeklies draft. Or no, hold on. Let's jump into a poodle. Don't click it yet. Just wait. Wait a second. I'm going to let people, again, the link is right here. Promo code Smitty. I'll pin the link right now. There's the link right there. I'll pin it right now in the live chat. If you don't get into this draft, just get into the next one. Let's go to a poodle. Or the poodle's closed. I guess the poodles are closed. Okay. Let's get into a weekly. Click on weekly winner, $10 weekly winner, 20-second draft. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 10 more to fill. So if you haven't clicked it early, if you try to click it early, that you shouldn't have done that. 7 more spots to fill, 5 more spots to fill, 4 more spots to fill. If you didn't get in again, and then you can just do 2 drafts side by side. 3 spots to fill. 2. Hit that link. Code Smitty. 2 to fill. 2 more spots. Weekly winner. This is the longest we've ever had to fill one. Weekly winner. Jump into the weekly winners. Let's go. 2 more spots. We're still waiting. Wow, I've never seen it take this long. I know it's late. It's like 1:12. 1 more spot. And we should be full. If you don't get in, draft alongside of us. It's okay. 1 more spot to fill. We always do 20. 20 seconds. 20-second timer. I don't have time for a 30-second timer. That takes way too long. It's like a 45-minute draft. This way it's like 20-something minutes. Boom. Now we're drafting. All right, let me pull up the draft board, put it on my screen. Draft is beginning in 54 seconds. Go to the draft. Let me show the board. Let me share my screen. And let's do it live. 2 spot. Love it. Love it. I mean, that was a long time. Anybody missed that draft? You had all the time in the world. I said 20 seconds. When I got in, I was number 2 or number 1, so we waited like 10 spots to fill. But that's all right. If you didn't get in, drafting alongside is sometimes better. But it's fun. You're the 8 spot, Rhino. Nick says underdog was bugging at the time. All right, let's go. So Jamar Chase went. Let's go. I haven't done a lot of Bijan from the 2 spot lately. So let's smash a little Bijan, baby. Yeah, Matt, I do always get a late pick. I'm glad I got the 2. Phone lines are open if you guys want to call in while we're drafting.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Tomorrow I'm gonna have a video probably in the morning about 5 a.m. my time, 4 a.m. my time, be about 7 a.m. Eastern, right around there. I should have a video drop, and it'll be Saquon Barkley avoid. So get ready for that one. Avoid Saquon Barkley. Yep. Just crushed a 12-man money draft. Wouldn't let me exit the draft. Oh, you mean when you were trying to get into this one? I don't know. I'm not sure what you've been dealing with on that. I'm sorry you didn't get in, but we'll be drafting all off season, my boy. Don't worry about it. We draft at midnight Eastern most every single night. So we'll have tons of opportunity to smash a draft. Well, you said poodles, so I was on put my phone down and rearranging furniture, says Malcolm. You missed out on the weeklies. You've been wanting to do weeklies forever. but it was literally we had like 10 spots to fill, and it took forever to fill them. What's up, Nick? You're live. Can you turn the background noise down or whatever? I don't know if you got the show in the background or a speaker.
Yeah, I got you.
What's up?
Better?
Yeah, it's better. What's up?
What's going on? I got a question. So, what's your favorite most drafted player and your least favorite most drafted player on your exposure?
Least favorite most drafted player? It's kind of hard to find a least favorite most drafted player.
Let's say, well, here, let me look at mine real fast.
Because I'm drafting him. If I'm drafting him a lot, like I'd have to scroll down and find somebody I accidentally drafted or I drafted one.
Well,
I mean, like you're not.
Well, for me, an example, like I have a bunch of mid-round guys or like later round guys in my like high end of my exposure because I'm picking a lot of the same guys in the later rounds.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So like my number one drafted guy right now is Demario Douglas.
Yeah. I don't. I probably say like one. I'll tell you one I regret from the early drafts was Whittington. We drafted a ton of Whittington, and then and then his situation changed after Adams and all that. Okay, let's see here. Hold on one second. Let me make this pick here. I'm on the clock. Man, Lab McConkey. You guys know I can't stand drafting him too early, but I don't have any shares of him here, and this is so late. Ugh. Let's see what it feels like here. I really don't. I don't love Lad anywhere really in even mid round 2 at all. But that's pretty far down. Let's see here. Do I go McBride or do I go? Let's go Kyron here. Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't love the way this feels. I don't love having my wide receiver 1 be Lad McConkey. It's good value. Like this is good enough value for me to take him. But if I'd gone Lamb or something, I probably just would have went. I don't know what I would have done, but this is definitely a tough spot. I like Lad. I do like Lad. I just don't want my wide receiver 1 to be Lad. But we'll see how this goes. All right, what else you got, bro?
Okay.
Let me answer your question. I'm sorry. So my favorite player would be Mahomes in round 6, 7. I love that. I love Harvey in 5 now. Drafted a lot of Harvey.
I've heard that a lot from you.
Yeah, I've drafted Harvey a lot in 4, but now I love him at 5. Hunter in 4.
So
I'd probably say my number 1 favorite player to draft is Bucky round 2. If I had to nail it down, Bucky round 2.
I'm kind of curious, just like how many guys do you have in 20% exposure?
Well, keep in mind that
or like what's your top guy in exposure?
Top guy is 70% Mahomes. 70% Mahomes.
Yeah.
But keep in mind one or two things here though. Number 1, I'm taking him out of territory that even if he tore his ACL right now and was out for the year, it wouldn't tank all my teams. I'm getting him in like round 7, sometimes I'm round 8. So that's really okay. All my guys that are super high exposure, none of them are in the first, second, or really even third round, except for Bucky. A little bit of Bucky, a little bit of Achane that are really, really high percentages. But Bucky's not in the 60s or 70s. And number one, the higher up in a draft you go, the harder it is to draft somebody at that rate because you're getting all kinds of picks. And the players in rounds 1 and 2 and sometimes 3 are cemented into ranges. So unless you get a late first round pick, you're never getting BT. Unless you get a late first round pick, so you're naturally not going to have a lot of saturation as much in the first, second, and third round. So a lot of my overexposure is later in the draft, which doesn't hurt you. Also, though, keep in mind that I go through what I call brute force drafting phases, where the value's there for Mahomes, it might not always be there for Mahomes. So once we get deeper into the off season and closer to August, we might see me switch into, like right now, I'm going to draft tons of Bo Nix. And so Mahomes is going to slowly fall, although I'll still bully quarterback Mahomes a lot. He might be the one outlier. But in the example of I've been crushing Mahomes ADP, and now I'm going to flip to smash a bunch of Nix ADP. Because Nix is like around 15%. I'll probably get that up to like 40, 50. So I'll constantly brute force a certain player in a time frame. And then you'll see me start smashing other players later. And so I make sure it evens out a little more than it looks right now. But I have no problem whiffing an entire season on my boys that I'm calling. I don't.
Yeah.
Other people might not feel that way, but I practice what I preach, and I'm okay with overexposure because think about it. If I have 150, 200 drafts, overexposure on like Hunter, Harvey, and Mahomes, and Henderson, and I hit, I'm going to have a higher likelihood of winning big money than the person that has just 7% of that. So you're taking a big risk, but you're also getting a whole lot of upside.
Right. Yeah. This is only my first year doing the best ball, and definitely my first year doing best ball in June, July. So I'm kind of learning the exposure still, and like what you're.
Hold on 1 second. I had to
that out.
Say that last part again. The last sentence.
Basically, I'm just still learning the exposure and how you want to spread it out and kind of where you want to have guys, and like, I don't know. Like I've heard guys talk about their exposure and they want to have it around a certain number. You know what I mean?
Don't listen to that. Don't listen to that. Number one, people are giving you percentages based on the previous year. They're always going based on last year's stats, blah, blah, blah. The guy that won best ball. Like there's some rhyme and reason to doing certain things that on a grand scale, there's good data behind. Like, example, guys that draft 3 quarterbacks usually have a higher chance of this. That's pretty good data. That's not necessarily data that's locked in from last year. That's just overall. There's a rotation of a quarterback helping you out that you don't think you're going to need Cam Ward as your third quarterback. You're going to go a little bit later shopping QB3, or some people just hold 2 QBs. Cam Ward as your third quarterback might have you dominate the quarterback scoring more than a person that just drafts 2 really good quarterbacks. So there's some rhyme and reason to using some data over and over, but too many people tell you should do this or you should do that. What if you were going to win Best Ball Mania if you hammered down on Harvey and Hunter? Let's say those two players in Mahomes. Harvey, Hunter, Mahomes. Let's say they crush it. You could be the winner of Best Ball Mania if you have 150 variants of that trio in different packages. You got different players surrounding all those. You got Sutton on one team, and then you don't have Sutton on another. You've got McBride in some of those cases, and you went like Isaiah Likely, but got Bucky Irving. Like, you know what I mean? You have 250 variants of a group of guys you thought were going to smash the hell out of fantasy, and they did. And if you didn't brute force draft a certain approach, you wouldn't have had the ample opportunity to rinse and repeat on something that was working and build around it to get the other pieces to fall in place. Yeah. Don't listen to anybody that tells you.
What really matters is those other pieces, because when you're getting to those later 15, 16, 17 weeks, is you need those.
Yeah, and have I won Best Ball Mania yet? No.
Long shot.
Yeah, and have I won Best Ball Mania yet? I know people are going to say, well, this guy hasn't won Best Ball Mania. Like, I haven't won Best Ball Mania, but guess what? There's only going to be one winner. So we're still early on in it. It's not like it's not an easy thing to do. But I have had some very awesome teams that have gone pretty far that danced in the finals in the top 10. That they got nudged out of the top 10 in the final half of football in week 17. Like there's been some good success on it, and not to mention, even so, like there's still a lot of luck involved in it, and then there's a lot of skill involved, and you got to bring it all together, and it's not always going to happen even in the first 4 years that you try it. My first year doing best ball, I made a lot of mistakes. My second year, I made a lot of mistakes. I'm still making mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. I'll have a perfect team, and I'll auto on somebody and screw the whole thing up. Who knows if that was going to win $2 million? It could have. That always drives me nuts thinking about that. All right, anything else?
I got one. I got one last question. I'm gonna let you go.
All right.
Why is every other draft on Underdog so heavy on the running backs, besides like DBM? It seems like every other format is heavy on running backs.
I don't know that that's true. I don't think that that's true, actually. I don't agree with that. But I will say that
it seems like the final pull one, like just they're heavier on running backs. I could be wrong, but from my experience, it seems that way. I've seen Barkley go one multiple times.
I'm gonna take a chance on Olave here just because of my wide receiver room. Lab McConkey, Travis Hunter, Olave. Not my favorite wide receiver room, but at least Olave gives me that shot to potentially have the wide receiver room that I didn't get that I wanted. Like maybe that's a shot. I mean, look, 7th round isn't bad. I think that maybe they're more leaning toward balance in the other formats. You also got to understand that, like in weeklies, for example, weeklies ADP is going to be a lot different. The quarterbacks are going to go extremely high. Look at how the quarterbacks.
Yeah, I've done one weeklies and got absolutely fucking slammed.
But not all of them are going to be that way. Every draft's a little bit different. The running backs, and then you look at a draft like this where we're drafting together. This is our community. It's not going to resemble ADP at all.
Yeah,
so don't even consider that. But I would say that it's not that running backs are heavy in other non-BBM tournaments. It's that it's sometimes inches more toward balance. I don't want to say heavy. But I would say that it just depends on, like in weeklies, running back scores, they score more, right? It's half PPR. And so there's a little bit more of a lean toward the RB when you're trying to just win 1 week. Or in like an eliminator, for example, it's a similar type of, you're trying to win 1 week at a time. And so you're trying to get that. You're not trying to necessarily have, it's just different, But those two tournaments, I think, are ones that you're maybe looking at. There's other ones where I think the ADP mirrors wide receiver heavy a lot. So,
well, I've been doing also just like the regular money draft, like not the tournament.
Well, that's going to be with people that don't tend to draft the same way as the people that are putting like $8,000 into the Best Ball Mania or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
those money drafts honestly seem
those are
like you're playing against elementary.
Yeah, it's a little more casual because who wants to waste time playing in a $25 draft? I'm not saying it's not fun, but in a $25 draft to win.
Yeah, for 18 weeks
to win 90 or 85% of whatever. So it's like and people and the big ballers don't sit around and wait for someone to join $100 draft and just sit there and wait. They're just like, I'm gonna draft for the big prize.
Right.
So yeah, that's probably where you're seeing it. All right, bro, gotta go. Appreciate you.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Have a good one.
Later. Ron Navy, you're live. What's up, Ron? Ron Navy. Okay, I don't know where Ron is. Rock out, you're live. Ron, call back. Rock out. Where are my people at? I mean, I heard rock out. Rock out, you were there.
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. But hold on real quickly before just by the way, this draft is crazy because everybody's sniping the hell out of my picks. Like Bo Nick's going. So I have to reach on a QB here just to make sure I get a guy that I like. But this team is it's different than normal. And remember, this is weekly, so you're trying to get everybody to come together in 1 week. And so the one reason why I'm really okay with Ladd more so, and everyone's going to say, Smitty, you got Ladd at a steal at 23, because I'm really low on Ladd. And whenever we do a draft, oh, hold on. I'm going to go Sharps here. Whenever we do a draft with our community, like a guy I might be super low on, not because I don't like Ladd, but because Ladd goes at 13, 14 overall, and I just 15 overall, and that's just too high, way too high. Him falling here, the reason I'm okay with this is because this is weeklies, and all I need is Ladd to have the big game that week, and he's my number one wide receiver in weeklies. Weeklies, I don't mind. Travis Hunter, Ladd, and Olave, those guys could come together for 1 week. Then my running backs being Bijan, Kyron, and Harvey, and Judkins, and Zach Charbonnet, and Penix Jr. at quarterback. I'm fine with this. I think it's a pretty good weeklies team, to be honest. Is it my favorite weeklies team ever? No. Go ahead, Rock Out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think Garrett Wilson will have a pretty good year, especially with Field. And people forget he helped DJ Moore be like a top 5, top 6 wide receiver. And he has that chemistry with him.
Yeah. I'm tempted to hit this button on Rock Out.
Smitty just said that.
Yeah, hit the button on me?
No, I hit a new button.
Smitty just said that.
Go ahead, Rock Out. You have to watch it back. Rock Out, what else, what do you think his numbers will be, Rock Out? Spit them out for me.
What did he have last year?
He had 1,100, 7 TDs, and like what was it? 101? I think I got it here somewhere. I think it's right here. Here it is. No, that's Saquon Barkley. 2,000 yards for Garrett Wilson. You out of your mind? Here's Garrett Wilson's game log. So 2024, 1104, 101, and 7. Yeah. So what do you think he's going to have this year?
13, 20, and 11 touchdowns.
13, 20, 11. I like it. Receptions? I mean, he had 101 last year. He definitely could lead the league. I think like 110 to 115 is pretty reasonable. What do you think?
Yeah. Give me 122.
Oh, ooh. All right, let me go over to Ron real quick. Ron, what do you hear? What do you say, Ron? Ron, is your phone working?
Ron's in some laboratory.
Ron. Hello,
Can you
Ron.
hear?
Yeah, there you are.
Yeah.
What's up, Ronnie?
I guess I don't know what happened. I forgot to take myself off mute, I guess.
No worries. I took her first of all, real quickly. I took Herbert here to cuff to Ladd. That'll be interesting in weekly. I got Michael Penix Jr. I feel okay at QB. Trying to decide what to do with this next pick. I only have 3 wide receivers, but kind of okay punting that because I still want. I'm gonna do this early because you guys are taking everybody, and I'm just gonna take them now. I don't care. I took Cam Ward. It was a wee bit early, but you guys are sniping everyone I want, so I need to have the quarterback rotation that I want. So there we go. All right, go ahead, Ron. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine. I like that. The thing about best ball is people don't realize you can draft the best teams, but that doesn't mean that you're going to win because you got all the injuries. Injuries can kill your team to any given week. All that, a lot of different things. You need the luck too. And it's hard to get teams into the finals. I mean, you have to beat. It's crazy how it's set up, especially in the BDM. Best Ball Mania is really tough.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
Yeah. So
Sure.
that was a good conversation though that you were having.
The worst is when players don't. I know I complain about this a lot, but that Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara situation, like that was, I'll never let that go. I mean, I'm gonna be so mad at both those guys. I'm just never gonna let it go. They sat out an entire half in the championship week. And McCaffrey's done that before. Tyreek Hill's definitely screwed people year after year after year in the fantasy playoffs. McCaffrey's done it more than once. McCaffrey crapped the bed that year in Week 17, sat out the entire second half, as did Alvin Kamara, and I had $30,000 coming to me. Had they both played great games, great second halves, I might have won the whole it was a big board. I might have won the whole big board. Cause like if they had just, one of them had just brought the semi-thunder and the other one did okay but kept producing points, I was in place for $30K. That was a bad second half, and they both sat the entire second half. I was just the luck of that. I was smashing things. in my studio. I forget what I broke, but I broke something. I was so pissed off. Like how did both your RBs sit? All I needed was one to blow up. I would have been fine. And I dropped all the way down. I still won money. I still won good money, but I dropped like 20 spots. And the thing about that is when you get down to Week 17 and you're sitting there, you truly do get worked up when you see something happen. Like let's say London catches a 50-yard touchdown. You think things are going to change like drastically, but sometimes you don't even move because it's down to about 200 and something people in Week 17 in most of these tournaments. Weekly winners like this, everybody's in it together. And so, like, you literally could have Tucker Kraft catch a touchdown, and then you go from, like, 20th to 400th place. That's weeklies.
I know how you feel because, I mean, look at the year before that happened to me in Week 17 when Buffalo-Cincinnati game got canceled, and that was my Week 17. I had 6 players in that final game, and I was in it until they canceled that game.
Yeah, that was true. Ron was really in the mix there. That was horrible. That was awful. I felt so bad for you.
I know the feeling. It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
And then the year after that, I didn't even. I did the worst, and I had the worst best ball season the year after that. So, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'll never forgive Kamara and McCaffrey. I'll never forgive them.
Yeah, I'll never forget the league for canceling that game.
Yeah, that was. I went on record saying that was BS. I didn't hold back. I didn't dance around that top. People are so scared to talk about that. I couldn't stand when people came out. Like a few. I don't want to say any names, but a few. And don't say them. I just want to keep the peace. But with a few people, but like there were some big name people that came out and said like, fantasy doesn't matter right now. Fantasy doesn't matter. A guy died on the field and they brought him back. Fantasy doesn't matter. And I was careful to say, look, we can chew gum and walk at the same time. We can pray or whatever you want to do. Good thoughts. Think very positively. Appreciate the situation and everything, and still want fantasy football to continue. And I thought it was hogwash of people to go out there, big name people saying it doesn't matter what we're doing. We're playing a stupid game. This doesn't matter. This is real life. Like this is real life to a lot of us too. I can at least admit that. This is what I do for a living. This is real life to me. When they canceled it was awful. The NFL was ridiculous for canceling. You could definitely do both. You don't need. I mean. It's not like it may have been worse if the outcome was different, but the outcome was still positive to a degree, right? And so, like, you didn't need to cancel the game. You didn't need to cancel football. So
they could have postponed it and they could have replayed it. I mean, they should have. I mean, that right there determined the whole outcome of the playoffs and everything else. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, my point was, I know how you felt.
Here, Ben, you know what? Ben, let's make it easier and just remove you from the live stream because you have nothing but negative things to say constantly. And there you go. Now you're free. Go watch another channel. You're good to go, bro. It's constant with you, Ben. Constant with you. Constant. So there you go. Okay. Coming up on my pick here, I've got, let's see here. I got to see what I'm doing here. Bijan, Kyron, RJ Harvey, Judkins, Charbonnet. I like what I'm working with there. Ladd, Hunter, Chris Olave, Luther Burden. Decent. And in weeklies, you don't necessarily need to have like all of you can have a little bit lack of depth going on because, you're kind of counting on your heavy hitters to swing away to a degree. But I always like to have as much depth as I can. I need another tight end. I got Kyle Pitts and Zach Ertz. Okay. I like this team. Not my favorite again, but I do like it. Let me see what other wide receivers.
The best though.
You what?
Sometimes those teams that you don't like as much as other ones, those are the ones that do the
Yeah.
best.
It's funny because I'll label some of them like with, fire emojis and like, money dollar sign emojis and just like I'll overdo it. But like, Rolo, come back to this one. Come back to this one. And I save it and I go back and look at it. And I'm like, oh, what happened there? That wasn't as good as I remembered.
Right. Well, I mean, we go in with the knowledge that we have, and unfortunately, we're basing our knowledge on a lot of the previous years of what the players have done, and we don't know the dynamics that's going to happen in the year until they happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like you think this team's going to be great, or you think this team's going to be really bad, and you don't. And they end up having a 13-14 win season, and the players are going off, and nobody expected it.
Yeah.
So that happens all the time.
Yeah. So yeah, this team ain't bad. Let me pull it up. Let me go to the top.
Adam?
Let me see. Hold on one second. Hold on one second, Ron. Let me just pull this squad down. Okay. So yeah, Bijan, Ladd, Kyron, Hunter, Harvey, Judkins, Olave. Olave is kind of my wild card. If Olave does have some big games, because the good thing is I don't have to count on him for an entire season. Like some of the stuff you're just trying to win 20K once. I'm not saying I'm not trying all 17 times, but if Olave played great for 6 games and then suffered a concussion and his career is over or something, at least I have those shots at getting that 20K. Because if anybody doesn't know the premise of weekly winners is you're trying to be the highest scoring team out of 200 and something thousand entrants, and the number one scoring team each individual week gets 20K, and the bucket of players never gets nailed down. Everybody's in it every single week, resetting. Week 12 has nothing to do with week 1. Week 2 has nothing to do with week 1. Week 17, you could have your entire team on a bye, or let's say they all get your entire team suspended and they don't return until the last week 17. If everybody comes back in week 17, you can win 20K in week 17 if they all ball out. So it really is just a team you want to pop off together for 1 week is your goal. But you're trying to, you could build it around a bye week and just go for 1 week and try and capitalize on that 1 week, that bye week, by Mageddon. Or you could try and draft a balanced team and win, that way. My receivers, Ladd, Travis Hunter, Olave, Luther, Burden, Thornton. I don't really concern myself too much with bye weeks in this format. Wide receivers, I could take another, let's see here. I have Kyron, right? So let me take Jarquez Hunter just to secure that up. I don't always grab my cuffs, but I do like him a lot. And then tight end, I'll take Gadsden, cuff him to Herbert. I've also got Ladd. And then one more pick and we're good. All right, let me hit this caller right here, Ron, then I'll come back to you real quickly. Jose, you're live. What's up, my man?
Hi, I'm Jordan.
Oh, Jordan, what can I do for you?
So I have a question. So if you had to pick between Justin Herbert and Brock Purdy, who would you draft?
Justin Herbert and Brock Purdy. Wow, that's a tough question. I would say give me Herbert. It's close. I like both of them, but I don't love either one of them, and I wouldn't want either one as my starter because there's just too many other players that you could draft as your QB1. But if it's like a second quarterback or a super flex question, I'd probably bank on Herbert because I think he's the much superior talent. But there is a world where he's not able to throw the ball much, and Harbaugh ties one arm behind the back like he did last year. But Purdy feels like he's a system quarterback that has a bunch of turnover in the wide receiver room. So I'm not extremely excited about Purdy either. At least not more than I am Herbert. So they're kind of in the same ballpark for me. It's a good question because they're very similar to me. But I don't want either one as my number one QB. Anything else?
Who would you want number one?
Number one overall?
Yeah.
Either Jamar Chase typically is the guy you want to take number one if it's wide receiver heavy at all. And if it's running back heavy, if everybody in the draft is drafting RBs early, then I like Bijan. I like Gibbs. But Bijan's my number one RB right now. Gibbs is close, and then Jamar Chase. You can't go wrong with Chase or Bijan. It kind of just depends on what you expect to see in the second and third round turn picks. Because if you can't cuff good wide receivers to Bijan, attached to good wide receivers, then you could be left not loving your team as much as if you went Jamar Chase and got Bucky. Like if Bucky's going to fall, Bucky Irving, if Kyron's going to fall, you'll be okay going Jamar Chase, Bucky, and Kyron. You'll be kind of upset at yourself if you don't like the wide receivers that are there at the second round if you went, let's say, Bijan. But I love both strategies. You just got to know your league. Appreciate the call.
Thank you.
Ron, back to Ron.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Yeah,
What do you hear? What do you say?
Who your number one quarterback would be, or if he meant number one player overall.
I think they meant
you didn't like either one for the number one, so
okay.
You might want to who you like number one quarterback.
Okay, if that's the question, then I would say it's between JD5 and Josh Allen. I don't think you can go wrong there. I lean JD5 because he's scratching the surface. We don't even know what JD5 is capable of doing yet. Josh Allen is a little safer, but I think you can't go wrong either way. I mean, you might end up being wrong at the end of the day, but I personally think it's smart to go JD5 if you want upside, and it's smart to go. I'm going to time out here. Let's go AM. I know where. Oh, I timed out. Hopkins. Oh, jeez. That was a mistake there. That's right. Yeah, I'd probably go JD5. But it's a tough call. It really is a tough call. Josh Allen is so steady. And some might say Lamar. I get it. But Lamar's failed before many times to produce, gets injured or whatever. Lamar's been up and down, whereas Josh Allen's steady Eddie. So if you want steady safety, Josh Allen. If you want a chance for maybe being a little bit disappointed in him not being QB1, then, I think you could go JD5 because he was a rookie last year. I mean, it's so crazy to me that people don't, they don't realize they just kind of act like JD5 because he was so good as a rookie. That's as good as he's going to be. Like JD5's, that's what he is. What he did last year is what we're going to get. And there's no room for, he was a rookie, he'll improve. Are we looking at Bo Nix saying he's going to improve greatly? Yes, we are. We all think Bo Nix is going to take, or at least this channel, majority of people here think the Bo Nix is going to take a huge step forward. But why can't JD5? JD5 of course will, but people just have such a high expectation for him off of his rookie year. They just think, oh, we already saw it. He just tapped into his upside early. Not really. He's just getting going. And for everybody that says JD5, people have film on him. He's a sophomore slump. Like, first of all, you're a hater on JD5, and you're trying to double down on being wrong about him. You're like, oh, people have film on him. He's going to have a sophomore slump. No, he's the one that has film on you. He has film on the defenses. I would be more worried about the defenses having this guy have film on them than people have film on him. Like, that's laughable to me. JD5 is going to be just a whole nother level better next year. And on top of that, he got Debo Samuel. They drafted Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. Ben Sinnott could get in the mix a little bit. I mean, this team improved.
They added, that's what I was going to say, is they added players around him. So, yeah, he's just going to get better. He's got more weapons.
Yeah. Had fun from the 8th spot. Got sniped. Get a big home game from Kyler and Goff. Yeah. Thank you, Rhino. Appreciate you drafted with us. Thank you for the super chat, my boy. Let me review the teams real quick, and then I'll let Ron give his final thoughts, and I probably won't be here too much longer after that. And then I got a couple other people on the phone line still. From the 1 spot, let me review these teams real quickly. I'm just going to look at the top part. Jamar Chase, Josh Jacobs, Chase Brown, J-Mo, Cortland Sutton, Jalen Waddle, Bo Nix. My favorite team, no. Do I like it? It's good. Bijan, Ladd, this is me. Kyron, Hunter, Harvey, Quinshawn Judkins, Olave, Penix Jr., Zach Charbonnet. I do like my team, really. It's not bad. For a weekly winner team, I mean, if Ladd can have a big game or two, like, I don't mind him in weeklies that late. I really don't. I do think he deserves to be here or the top of round 3 normally. That's where I believe he should live. I don't think he should be at 12, 13, 14. I would never take him at 12, 13, 14, 15. I wouldn't. Gibbs, Rashee Rice, Breece Hall, Joe Burrow, George Pickens, Adunze, Addison, Egbuka, Mason. It's a good team. That's a top 6 team right there. I like it. Barkley, top 6 in this group, not overall. I don't know about that. I'll let you know if I ever run into a team that seems top 6. It'll be in weeklies. Barkley, A.J. Brown, J.T., James Cook, Ted McMillan, Jennings, Judy. Not bad. Justin Jefferson, Bucky, Tyreek. That's where I'm not in love with the team after that. That's a high draft pick for Tyreek for me. It's possible he earns that, but, Garrett Wilson was there. The man of the hour was there. Take Garrett Wilson over Tyreek every time. We just did the whole show was on Garrett Wilson. I mean, you could think for yourself. I'm not trying to say you got to do everything we say on this channel. I'm not saying that, but my evaluation is going to be based on my thoughts, and my thoughts are Garrett Wilson smashes Tyreek Hill. CeeDee Lamb, Josh Allen, Garrett Wilson. Love that trio. Mike Evans, Kenneth Walker, Caleb Johnson. I'm sorry if I took Charbonnet from you. That would have helped. I'm not really worried about anybody else's team, nor should you guys. I mean, when I say I get sniped and I go, you took my guy. Look, you're paying your hard-earned money to try and win. Don't worry about anybody else but yourself. But I do try and tell you not to grab guys too early, especially up top. When you get later in a draft, don't worry about it so much. CeeDee Lamb, I like that beginning, though. Mike Evans, you don't know. Kenneth Walker, a little bit shaky. Caleb, I'm not a huge fan of Caleb at the value, the cost of entry, personally. That's just me. I think he could earn it, but it's Arthur Smith. It's, Warren's there. I'm not the biggest fan of Caleb. I like him a lot at certain ADP, but I'd much rather have Debo, who just went, though. Let's see. Quinshawn Judkins, I'd draft over Caleb. So there's players there I just like better. But it's a good team. Christian McCaffrey, Brock Bowers, Jaden Daniels, DJ Moore, Chuba, Debo, Ricky Pearsall, Jaden Reed, Brock Purdy. It's decent. It's gonna live and die by McCaffrey, and this team will live and die by Henry, Drake London, MHJ, DK Metcalf, James Conner. Henry and Conner are old dogs, and your team will be very, very good if they bring the Thunder and give you top 5 Henry and top 10 Connor running back value, you'll be definitely in the mix. And Kyler was great value, but you do live and die by that. Malik Neighbors, Lamar, McBride, great start. JSN, fantastic. Trey Henderson, love it. Calvin Ridley, it's interesting there. It's a good team. Top 6 in this group, probably, for sure. Genty, BT, Higgins, Amarian Hampton, Laporta, Patrick Mahomes, Evan Ingram, very good team. Top 5 in this group. Puka, Amon-Ra, McLaurin, Kittle, Devontae Smith, David Montgomery, no thank you. You put yourself so far behind waiting until round 6 to get an RB. You know, Pollard, Tyrone Tracy. Those are your 2 and 3. Pollard and Tyrone Tracy, I just can't get behind that team because you have no depth either, you know, at that point. 12, Nico, Achane, Hurts, Adams, Mixon, Swift, Baker, Diggs, Brent. It's good. I think maybe I like the Genty team a lot, the 10 spot, and then there's the other team that I said was in the top 6, right? I think it was the Rashee Rice team, maybe. I liked where the Bucky team was going. Josh Allen. Yeah, those are all good teams. All right, Ron, what else you got?
Hey, Smitty, that boy you talked to that was asking the questions. It's his birthday today. Send him to the moon.
The moon. I'm not sending him to the moon, Ron. I'll send him to Jupiter.
To Jupiter.
There you go. Send him somewhere good.
But it's cold there. Bring your coat. Have your dad make sure you pack your coat.
Mashed potatoes.
Yeah, it's his 11th birthday. Way to go. That was a good question.
It's a little late, Dad. It's a little late, Dad. Dad of the year, keeping his kid up till past midnight. I like that. That's the way my mom was. We were up at all hours. I like that. All right. Final thoughts, Ron.
No. That was a good draft. I like that draft you did. I like your team. And that's about all I got.
See you later, Ron. Appreciate you.
All right, later. Later, chat.
Rock out. Final thoughts. Rock out.
Yeah, you finally got a 2 spot in the draft, but at like the 3-4 turn, who you taking the most, like Lamb, JJ, or Gibbs? I usually be taking like Lamb or Gibbs.
And I love Gibbs and Bijan in non-best ball, but I'm finding out, like I did here, that when I don't go Lamb or JJ or Chase and I have a top 5 pick, I like my team a lot less. I would say about 70 to 80% of the time. This is kind of a rough guess. I love my team when I draft Chase, Lamb, or JJ within that top 5 or 6 overall picks. I love my team 70 to 80% of the time, because you don't always love your team. You walk out, you get sniped.
Right.
But I love my team 70, 80% of the time when I take Lamb, Chase, JJ, and I've got a top 5 pick. When I take Bijan, Gibbs, or let's say Barkley, but for me it's Bijan, Gibbs, in the top 5, I like my team 40 or 50% of the time, if that makes sense. But here's the caveat. Sometimes when it lands, I like my team way better with the Bijan or Gibbs build if the right wide receivers do fall. So it's almost worth doing, but there's a higher risk of not having a winning entry. So it's kind of like a confusing, decision.
Right.
And the answer is just mix it up. There's no real good answer. You'll like your team better going wide receiver, but you can smash a little harder having Bijan or Gibbs and then get the right receiver. And I'm starting to like Rice a lot more there to make it fit a little better. But sometimes I'll get, Garrett Wilson and Marvin Harrison Jr. with Bijan, and I end up loving, or I get Hunter and London will sometimes fall or something weird like that. Or I'll take, let's say Bucky falls. I take Bijan, Bucky, and I'm really increasing the odds of not liking the team, but increasing the chance that it's the best team I ever draft, it's just got to all fall right. So you get Bijan and Bucky, and then Garrett Wilson falls, and then I get Hampton, and then I get Hunter, and I get Harvey, and it's like, holy crap, it's my favorite team I've ever drafted. So it really does. It's a risk you play, for sure. You want a little bit more safety of loving the team, go Lamb, JJ, or Chase, but you want, something else. A little bit of risk. All right, my boy, anything else?
Oh, by the way, today's my birthday.
Is it really, or are you just saying that?
It's really my birthday.
Was that you that called in?
To Jupiter.
Rockout's birthday, too. Everybody's birthday. Attaboy, Rockout. All right, Rockout, appreciate you dialing in.
Yep. See ya.
Call tomorrow, my boy. We'll see you later.
All right, cool.
All right, we're out of here. Appreciate you all. Live Monday through Friday. Hey, don't forget to get on over to the Patreon. As well as Underdog, promo code Smitty. The link is pinned in the live chat. If you want to draft with us next time, make sure you smash that link that's pinned in the live chat. Code Smitty gets it done as well. Underdog will match your first deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000. We got one last caller real quickly. You got 20 seconds here. 209 caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, it's the Redwood.
What's up?
California.
Redwood, what's up? Hey, real quickly, Devontae, you still here? This question, how good of a wide receiver 2 is Deebo Samuel this year? I'm sorry I missed that. Devontae, you still there? I put it on the screen and I never answered it. Devontae, appreciate you. Let me know if you're here. He's a risky wide receiver 2 because he goes around 6'7". But if, let's say you were to go running back, quarterback, wide receiver, running back, whatever, and then Deebo, I'm fine with that. I love that. It just really depends on what we're talking about. Like Deebo is a really, really good wide receiver 2 in one build, and he's too early in another build. So, but if let's say you had, let me just give you an example. Let's say you had Bijan, Bucky, Garrett Wilson, JD5, Harvey, and then Deebo, then I love it. You know what I mean? So as long as he's going 6'7", then you're fine no matter what. No matter what he's. You ask him to be your number 2 wide receiver in a weird build like that, smash it, do it live. All right, go ahead. Thank you, Devontae. I see you're still here. Appreciate you. Sorry about the wait on that. Go ahead real quickly, Redwood.
Well, I just was just wondering how high you are on B-Rob this year with seems like they improved the O-line a lot, and then but they also have the new RB JCM. So I was just wondering how high that you are on B-Rob.
I'm not very high on Brian Robinson Jr. I do admit that it could be one of those like mistakes, like James Conner last year, where that's probably a player I did not get. I'm not probably. That is a player I did not give enough credit to, and I just assumed he'd get hurt again because he always gets hurt. It was last year. He was healthy. He didn't get hurt last year, but I think Brian Robinson Jr. I don't know how amazing he will be. So I think if JCM steps out and delivers, he'll take over the job. But there's risk involved. JCM's going at the tail end of a draft. We're talking about Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt being on the preemptive waiver wire show as the number 1 running back. So clearly I'm expecting him to be a free agent in many cases, unless the stars align early, which you're going to be on top of it in those leagues because your boy Smitty's telling you about it. But if I'm projecting him to be potentially a waiver wire grab, the best one coming out of week 1, clearly it's a low risk proposition. And if Brian Robinson Jr. stays in that lineup, then you're no skin off your back. You know what I mean? But I do think that GM's the way better talent. I like Brian Robinson Jr., but he just reminds me of a meh player. He's good. He's good enough to make the NFL. It's good. But he's not an elite player.
Okay. And then sticking with Washington too, what about the receiver they drafted? Lane?
Yeah, I mean we got him on the waiver wire. Go watch the waiver wire show for sure, bro. We talk about both those guys a lot. But Lane's on here.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah, Lane's on here. He could climb all the way to the top of this second tier, not above Thornton Jr., but right, here next to Austin. If for any reason he was getting some buzz and run, but he like everybody else. Think of Sinnott last year. We love Ben Sinnott last year, who's also on the preemptive waiver wire list at the bottom here. Ben Sinnott we loved last year, but remember Ben Sinnott never got a chance. Like Brian Robinson Jr.
He
may
wasn't
never
really targeted like that, though, right?
He was. I mean, Ertz stayed healthy. So if Ertz stays healthy again, he might not get a chance. If Jalen Lane doesn't get an opportunity, they're not going to take someone off the field. He's got Luke McCaffrey in front of him, and it's going to be a little bit of an obstacle to get on the field. But once he does, he'll be really, really good. That's why he's on the preemptive waiver wire show, because I don't anticipate him, at least right now, being worthy of rostering now. He's someone you're going to look to later.
Okay. All right,
bro.
Thanks for your time.
All right, appreciate you, bro. Later.
Talk to you later.
Best fantasy football show, period. Says Matt Huff. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate that. I'm live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. I'm live midnight Eastern, like this show right here, pretty much every night. And then I'm live whenever big news breaks. So opportunity for 2, 3, 4 live streams a day. And don't forget to get on over to my Patreon. In fact, I'm going to get on there right now. And here's the link if you want to get on there. I get on there after every show. And I say, what's up, everybody? Any post-show topics. So I'm going to pull it up right now. There's the link. I just dropped it in the live chat. Let me pin the link one more time. Make sure you click that Underdog link. It's also in the description of the video. But I just replaced it with the Patreon link. And right now I'm going to pull up the Patreon. And I'm going to type in the general chat. And I see Will Snipe Selly has already posted a question in there. So I'm going to answer his question in a second. I don't answer everyone's question, but I try to. But it's not there for you to be like, hey, Smitty, give me your lineup advice. Smitty, give me your lineup advice. Smitty, it's more so, hey, chat. And then Smitty comes in and everybody chimes in. And it's just a community helping community. Basically, you want to have a quick answer to anything. It's a live 24/7 chat group. I'm not on there all the time. I'm on there a lot. But everybody's on there collectively, and it's what it's about. So I'm going to type, what is up, good people? Any post graveyard topics? Boom. I'm on there waiting for everybody. I'd love to see some new people pop in. Say hello if you do. It's $10 a month. Cancel anytime. Try it 1 month for $10 and then just cancel it. You're not committing to anything crazy. It's like a cup of coffee, but you're getting 24/7 advice. See you all. Happy birthday, Rockout. Happy birthday to the caller earlier as well. I'll see you all on the live chat group, Patreon, link pinned in the live chat. And don't forget, we have this new Garrett Wilson animation for you all.
Many wonder what motivates and drives Garrett Wilson.
I mean, Garrett Wilson, to me, is more like a third rounder. Steve, wouldn't you agree? I think, he doesn't belong up there with the top 5, 6, 7 wide receivers, don't you think?
Please report to the moon. Space-time continuum reset.
Rock out with a last second super chat wants a Saturn shot on his birthday. I think we can accommodate that. Okay, so rock out
To Saturn.
I think we can also give him a
To Jupiter.
Jupiter shot.
To
A
Mars.
Mars shot.
To the moon.
Get lammed.
Get lambed.
Got him.
Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. Additionally, live whenever news breaks. And additionally, live midnights Eastern, most every single night. And then, of course, uploads like the Saquon Barkley video that I should have queued for the morning. So get ready for the Saquon Barkley Avoid video. Oopsie. See you all on the Patreon. And tomorrow. Deuces.